Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The topic we have for the day is yoga of knowledge. Jnana yoga. Jnana means knowledge. Therefore, it is yoga of knowledge. What is yoga? Yoga is derived from the root yuj, means to join, to unite back. Unite back to what? Next question comes is, unite back to what? Unite back to your Godhead, your own self, which you are separated from today, which is not available to you today. So you are separated, as it were, from that. So any effort that you put in to unite back to the self, God principle, the life principle, the spirit, consciousness, etc. Atman, Brahman, all that various words is being used. Any effort that you do to unite back is referred as yoga. There we have seen already the previous two classes, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Yoga of action, yoga of devotion. And today we are seeing Jnana Yoga, yoga of knowledge. Now, whenever you discuss about this spiritual path, these yogas are referred as spiritual path also, spiritual disciplines as well. 2 points you need to remember. First one is, there is no specific spiritual discipline or this yoga is universally applicable. It's not that one yoga for everyone. There is no such thing. Everybody should be practicing bhakti yoga only. Or, one person will say. Another person comes and says, no. Knowledge is what everyone should practice. Another person will come and say everybody should be practicing this karma yoga or hatha yoga, raja yoga. Each one will give one terminologies. Please remember, there is no universally applicable yoga. All the spiritual practices needs to be practiced simultaneously, depending upon your inner nature, depending upon the human constitution and his nature. They have to take this path together. So to the extent you are active, you have to take the path of action. To the extent you are indolent, you have to take to the path of hatha yoga, force. Hatha means force. Hatha yoga, yoga of force. Then to the extent you are emotional, you have to take to the path of devotion. To the extent you are intellectual, you have to take to the path of knowledge. Therefore, we understand the second point. The second dimension, what we understand is, there is no superiority or inferiority with reference to this yogas. Which yoga is better? Which yoga works faster? People immediately ask, which is better? Is bhakti yoga better than karma yoga, or jnana yoga better than hatha yoga better than this one? There is no superiority or inferiority with reference to these yogas. This is the basic point you need to remember. Then comes the next idea. Now, You can say that I am practicing devotion, I am studying, I am doing service. All these things by itself doesn't make it a yoga. You may be doing karma, but that doesn't make it karma yoga. You may be studying the scriptures, listening to lectures, perhaps even delivering lectures. Doesn't make it the path of knowledge. When does this become yoga of knowledge? The study to become yoga of knowledge. That happens only when you study with the purpose. And that purpose has to be a singular purpose. You cannot have any other purpose there. If you are having the purpose as reduction of desires, for that I am doing this work. For that I am entertaining this devotion. For that I am gaining this knowledge. For that I am practicing this yoga, this spiritual effort. Only then it becomes spiritual. By itself they don't become spiritual. But most of us don't go through these things. Like today you all have come to attend this class, yoga of knowledge. Did any one of you came here today for this class for reduction of desires? If not, it's not yoga of knowledge. Then what is it, sir? It's just an intellectual entertainment. That's about it. Exactly like a person goes to temple doesn't make him practicing bhakti yoga. When does that become bhakti yoga? Is only when you are able to establish a link to say that I am entertaining this only for reduction of my desires. Because what is obstructing me in what has separated me from my own self is the desires. Now, unless I am willing to reduce it, if not eliminate, ideally it should be elimination, at least I should be able to reduce the desire. If the reduction of desire is not, this is where most of us will be like this now, including the speaker. See, when I come and sit here, am I talking to you people to reduce my desires? Then I will be practicing yoga of knowledge. Otherwise, this transaction of knowledge is just a academical one. Expertise. You become experts in few ideas. You gather few more information. You will be hunting few information. We'll gather that information and we get satisfied. We get a kick out of keeping those informations with us. That doesn't make it please. Then what is that we are supposed to do, sir? Now, when you are gaining knowledge, that knowledge that you gain from the scriptures or by your own thinking doesn't make any difference. If you can have your own thinking, most ideal, it's exactly like saying mathematics is sheer common sense. All of us have got common sense. None of us will say that if somebody were to come, don't you have common sense? If somebody asks, none of us will say, yes, I don't have. We'll say, what? What nonsense you are talking? I have common sense. But then, why do we have to study mathematics? If mathematics is common sense, then why you have to study mathematics? Same thing here. Ideally speaking, you can gain this knowledge on your own, but practically that is not possible by most of us. Therefore, we take assistance. That assistance that we take to get few inputs could be from a text or from a person. If it is from a textbook, it is referred as scripture. If it is from a person, we call that as guru. So you get that information from him. Or You get that information from the book. Either a book may give or a person may give. The person need not be only man. Okay. I'm used to saying that, therefore I'm saying man means human, which means men and women. It could be anyone. It doesn't make any difference. In the Upanishads that we have, a person got the instructions from a buffalo, a bird, a cow, and from the fire he gets it. The element fire taught him few things. You see, it's not necessary that some source, some trigger is required from external. Your pursuit of knowledge starts at that point. But remember, this pursuit should have the backdrop of your idea. Why are you going to study this? This I am studying for reduction of my desires. If it is not for that, you can't say I am very sincere. That sort of a scenarios don't work. Remember this. It doesn't make yoga itself. Whether it is bhakti, whether it is karma, whether it is hatha or it is jnana. Any one of that gets converted into yoga only when you pursue it with the idea of reduction of my desires. For which you need to know what is a desire. A desire is different from any thought. Don't say everything is a desire. This is where the problem comes. You see, that's where we need a basic teaching. Therefore, we go to the scriptures or the master to take that basic information. And then we come to this particular pursuit. Okay, in Jnana Yoga, what are we doing, sir? In the pursuit of knowledge, the equipment that we are employing here is buddhi, intellect, our thinking faculty, which is available only for human beings. Employing your thinking for the reduction of desires is called Jnana Yoga. Therefore, when you are thinking means you are questioning, you are inquiring, you are probing. That probing of yours, the questioning of yours should be backed by the quest. If the questioning is not backed by the quest, then it is sheer academical excellence. It will lead to what? Borrowed knowledge. You will live your life with borrowed information, borrowed knowledge. What is borrowed knowledge, sir? Borrowed knowledge means I take in the knowledge from the external agency, I keep it with me, and I know everything. But then how he will live? A classic example they give in Mahabharata of borrowed knowledge. Yudhishthira is a classic, representation of borrowed knowledge. He is called as Dharmaputra. He is a personification of righteousness. But very comfortably that fellow can pawn his wife also. There's no problem. He will not have any issues. We can't reconcile. You see, you can't reconcile that character. How on earth is possible for a person to do something like that, which even a normal person will not do it? How is it that he could do that and not felt remorse at all about it? What is it? Then what about all the knowledge that he had? All the knowledge that he carries is what then? Borrowed knowledge. Krishna is standing on the other side. Here what is it, sir? It's not borrowed. Krishna doesn't borrow his knowledge. His knowledge is coming from his inner transformation, inner revolution. That is Krishna. Whereas this person, what is it? Borrowed. Now what is borrowed knowledge? What do you do with borrowed knowledge? With borrowed knowledge, what you do is you run towards the world. You get knocks and shocks. you start running towards God. And when you run towards God, nothing happens there. The attractions of the world comes in. Then what you do? Start running back towards the world. Like there are a lot of people who have been saying, in the beginning of the lockdown period, we were enjoying our time with our family now. Correct. Last week I'm reading a report from one of our a close associate who has been working on these things of. He says the people were having problem with reference to their family now. Why? They can't stay together now. Right? 4 months back they said they're enjoying their time. Now they are saying it is a problem. Why? We are constantly at home. Therefore, it is causing too much of pressure now. You see the pendulum swinging. You get into that swinging aspect. But you ask that person, he knows everything. There's nothing he would not know. He has all that knowledge. But then why the swinging happening? The swinging is because of this borrowed, not your own. Like you start a business. Of course, when you start a business, you borrow money, either from bank or a capital, venture capitalist. You borrow that money. But you don't live out of that borrowed money. You have to invest that in the business, do that business, earn profit, pay back, very importantly, and then attain that break even, then continue doing that business, earn that profit, and start living out of that profit. This is the legitimate way of doing business. Now what this fellow does, he goes and shows the project, he borrows that money. First thing the fellow goes and buys is a BMW car. Buy home in his name and buy one property using that money in his wife's name. If he does all that, it is illegitimate. Same way, you take in that knowledge from the scriptures, correct, nothing wrong in that. But having taken in that information, you are supposed to work on that information, question that information, get that absorbed by you and make it your own. So the path of knowledge is divided into 3 stages. There are 3 stages, they say. The first stage is referred as Shravanam, means listening. Of course, reading also you can include. In the very liberal sense, the very strict sense, Shravanam means listening. Next step is referred as Mananam, reflection. Third step is referred as Nididhyasana, stage 3, step 3. Why these 3 disciplines were given? Now, the knowledge you acquire only to combat the ignorance. The path of knowledge combats the ignorance, and the ignorance manifests in 3 layers. Your ignorance has 3 layers. Those 3 layers of ignorance to fight, we have 3 steps. Each step will help you to overcome that particular phase of ignorance. Remember this. Unless you understand the ignorance phases, we can't understand the knowledge pursuit phases also. Your ignorance has basic ignorance of us is I don't know. I don't know what is it. I don't know. That is first layer of ignorance. Then comes the second layer of ignorance. I know, but I don't understand. It's not that I don't know. Of course I know. Of course, I know money is not everything in life. I'll give a lecture to you on how the world is illusion and how Shankara interprets, how Madhva interprets, how Ramanuja interprets, how Hume interprets, how Shobhaner interprets. All that interpretations and their things, all that lecture I give in the class, then I go out and shout slogans, standing at the headmaster, the principal's room, give increment. Professors were all shouting for increments. I'll say, hey, just now you said world is illusion. No, he'll say, hey, I taught you illusion because that's in the syllabus. If it is not in the syllabus, I'm not going to teach. I have no connection. See, he will talk, but he doesn't understand. He knows everything, but is there an understanding of it? I know so many doctors, no one in the world will have a better knowledge of the ill effects of smoking. A doctor should have the best knowledge because only they understand what all happens. But still, what is he doing? How many times we ourselves have said, of course, I know I should not get angry, but you do get angry, isn't it? You do lose your temper. This is what is referred as non-understanding. See, first layer is, I don't even know that I should not get angry. I should not drink. I should not smoke. I don't even know that. The three layers of ignorance. The first layer is, I don't know. The second layer is, I don't understand. That's the second layer. The third layer is, I know, I understand also, but I don't have experience. I have not tasted it. I know this is sugar. I know that. And I have understood also, if I have to make anything sweeter, I have to add sugar to it. That also I have understood. I'm clear. I know fully well that anywhere I say, I want to drink milk. Hey, milk is not sweet. Now what to do? I say what? Add sugar. Tastes very well, very, very good. Or a better example would be, first layer is, I don't know what is a cyanide. I don't even know what is it. Then someone told me, cyanide is a chemical which if you take it, you will die. I said, oh. Second is, I study the chemical compositions of that. Then I come to an understanding, yes, cyanide, if I touch, I can die, can lead to death. It will lead to death. Third layer is what? Have you tasted it? Don't try, yeah? Okay. I know, I don't even know what is Taj Mahal. Right. Then I hear about Taj Mahal. And I also have understood, looking at the website, studying, reading, articles about it, how beautiful it is, how extraordinary it looks, particularly on a full moon night. No clouds. Without any clouds. On a full moon night to see Taj Mahal. That's the way to see Taj Mahal actually. I don't understand how these people go and see Taj Mahal. Daytime, go and see there. You can't even see properly actually. This is reflection. Night you go and see. That's where you really get to see what is Taj Mahal. Beautiful it is. Oh, excellent. Now you have understood how beautiful it is. And you see the pictures also. Yes. Have you seen that? I have not tasted it. I have no experience of what it is to be standing there and viewing the Taj Mahal on the day, full moon night to see is, you go and see there, you actually taste what is that. Similarly, you don't even know that your real nature is self. I've never heard that. You don't even know it. You listen to a master or read the scriptures that gives you that knowledge that you are the self. You are that pure consciousness. Your real nature. That is the truth. This is not. That information you get. More you study, more information you will get. More you study, more information you get. More lectures you attend, more information you will be able to gather. We believe more information gathering itself is knowledge. No, that's not knowledge, please. It is knowledge. You can't say it is not knowledge. It is knowledge. But this knowledge can remove only the first layer of your ignorance. That is, I don't know. But that will not give you conviction. That will not give you understanding. That conviction will not come. What is that? Forget about conviction. A suspicion is sufficient. You see, this is not real. That is what, Shankara defines this, Jnana Yoga. What is this path of knowledge? He says, Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vicharam. Nitya means eternal. Nitya. In Sanskrit you put it becomes non. Ephemeral. Non-eternal. Viveka, discrimination. Vicharam, inquiry. Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vicharam. Inquiry into the discrimination between the eternal and the ephemeral is called Jnana Yoga, path of knowledge. This is the definition for path of knowledge. What is path of knowledge? Somebody asks, all of you can rattle off now. Nitya, Nitya, Viveka, Vichara. They'll think you have become a scholar in Vedanta. That's all. One statement. A beautiful statement. It's worth, memorizing. It's a very small one, just 4 words. Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vichara. Inquiry into the discrimination between the eternal and the ephemeral, the terrestrial and the transcendental, the real and the unreal. Now, what is real? What is unreal? This comes a very interesting question. You see, which part? We'll say world is unreal. Which part of the world is unreal to you? The part of the world where I am not involved, where I am not attached, is unreal. Whereas the part of the world where I am attached, where I am involved, is very real to me. That is why a man reading a newspaper is reading that in the paper that there was an earthquake, 60,000 houses were collapsed, over 2 lakh people were rendered homeless. As he is reading that, he feels so sorry for them. At the same time, he will shout at his wife, why there is no sugar in coffee? See, 2 lakh people have been rendered homeless overnight. Is that bigger one or less sugar in coffee? But to him, which is more important? Which is more real? Less coffee, less sugar in coffee is far more real to him than 2 lakh people lost their life. They lost everything that they had with them. Imagine, rendered homeless means Not people who are poverty stricken and all that. They were all like that yesterday, like you and me, sitting. Overnight, they had become nothing. You know, even to visualize it is difficult to understand. But for him, the best part is he will be sympathizing. He will feel sorry for them. Yo, power, he'll say. As you are reading, he'll say that. But when he has his coffee, it's not hot. He gets annoyed. Don't you know that I drink coffee hot? I think people fight for coffee being given to them without froth. Without that, you give them, they get annoyed. He's shouting at them. Don't you know how I drink coffee? That's so what? They just have no. That's more real for him. What is real and what is unreal? That ability to understand the difference between the real and the unreal. Now you know. Now you can't say I don't know. What is Jnana Yoga? None of you can say that I don't know what is Jnana Yoga. Unless you had put me on mute. Right? Nitya, Nitya, Viveka, Vichara. But do you understand that? You see, that understanding, if you want to get, that is where the next discipline called Mananam comes into picture. Reflection. Your independent thinking, probing, that's called Mananam. Without taking things for granted, to question whatever you have understood out of whatever you have heard or read. Your ability to question your conclusions, your understandings, your values, your beliefs, that is called reflection, thinking, mananam. When you do that, what happens, sir? You get understanding. You get convinced, yes, this is real, this is unreal, this is higher, this is lower, this is right, this is wrong, this is appropriate, this is inappropriate, this is permanent, this is impermanent, etc. That conviction you get. When you get the conviction, this is unreal, this is bondage, that is liberation, automatically you will move towards liberation. The moment you understand this is unreal, more and more you understand something to be unreal, it should automatically inspire you to move towards the real. That is the test of your understanding real and unreal. I repeat. More and more you make the discrimination between the real and unreal, what happens is you start recognizing, understanding this is unreal. You may not understand that as real, but you understand this is unreal. More you understand this is unreal, your search for the real should get deeper. You should get convinced, you should start moving towards that. That movement is called as conviction. In the first stage, you will have a suspicion. Right? In the Shravanam, you will have suspicion. Listening. When you do Mananam, you will have conviction, but you will not have experience. Remember. Like there is a difference between Ishwaran quoting, who am I? Inquire into who am I. This is very different from Ramana saying, inquire into who am I. In terms of statement, both of us are making the same statement. I am also saying, who am I? Ramana also saying, who am I? Does it mean both of us are equal? There is no connection, actually speaking. See, it's It's like a scientist and a science teacher. Sixth standard, science teacher is there. The sixth standard science teacher is not equivalent to Newton. She will also say law of motions. Perhaps she would be able to explain law of motions better than Newton himself. Because if you read, you will not understand. Unless you are of at least masters in physics. Minimum requirement is masters in physics. You can't say I'm doing 12th standard physics. Not enough. You need that. But the 6th standard teacher can explain that to everyone. Everyone will understand, everyone will appreciate. But still, she is nowhere near Newton. Similarly, the statements can come, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't know. Of course she knows. Similarly, a man of conviction also will speak. Man of knowledge also will speak. Man of experience also will speak. All three can speak. But to know the difference, who will know the difference? All three. You have to pass through that stages. Only then you can recognize. Otherwise you can't recognize. Otherwise everyone will look same for us. And we will go by whoever speaks better. Obviously, between Newton and school teacher explains much better. Therefore, for all of us, who's more valuable? Say, Newton is Einstein. You look at the picture of Einstein without telling who he is. I did that actually with my grandma. She was in, Throughout village, interior village. She doesn't know. She thinks, Bangalore is, I have to take passport, visa and all I have to apply to come to Bangalore. She thinks it's all, some other country. So I took that picture of, Einstein. I asked her, what do you think of him? She said, paitya mari irka. Yes, he looks like a, mad fellow. Why are you keeping his picture with you? He said, you're not science. She said, don't study science. Because if you also study science, you'll also become like him. Why? You go by what? She cannot go by anything else. She goes by how it looks. Now, looks defines everything for us. Same way, here, for us, what is taken? So don't go by that, please. For you not to fall into the trap, you have to start with listening, but then don't stop there. Move to the next phase of reflection, but don't think that is enough. No, you have to go one more step. That is called nididhyasana, referred as contemplation. The first one is called listening in English, shravanam. Second one, mananam, reflection. Third one, nididhyasana, contemplation. Anyone who practices all these three together is practicing, following the path of knowledge. How does this progress happens here? You gain that knowledge first. Information you gather first through shravanam. Then through reflection, you internalize that and convert that into conviction. That's where your intellect gets stronger enough, sharp enough to cut across and see the difference. The discriminating faculty. I'm reminding, we are studying philosophy, not politics. Because the word discrimination, in politics it has a different meaning. In philosophy it has a different meaning. Remember that. Don't get mixed up. In philosophy, discrimination is a beautiful word. Discrimination means my ability to understand the difference. I understand the difference between door and a wall. That is called buddhi. That's called intellect. That gets sharp, alert to understand real and unreal through reflection. Then what happens? The consequence of that is your thoughts gets disciplined. Your mind gets disciplined, automatic. You don't have to put in special effort to discipline your mind. Remember, mind is like water. You pour a glass of water on the floor, it will spill everywhere. See, it will run in all directions. Water has no direction. It will run everywhere. Similarly, your mind also has no direction. It will run everywhere. It will not concentrate. It will keep moving into this place, that place, here, there, everywhere it will move. That's the nature of the mind. Everybody's mind. It's not your mind, my mind. Mind is designed like water. Water will spill. That's the nature of it. Now, in that same floor, you make a groove and then pour water. What happens? It will follow the groove automatic. The water which has no direction suddenly moves in a particular direction. How that is possible? Because of the groove. That is your intellect. Your intellect with the study gets deeper, groove gets created. Thereby, it contains the flow of your thoughts. The mind's running in all directions doesn't happen anymore. It follows the pattern. It moves in the direction set by the intellect. That is called discipline. That is called self-control. Each one will use different words in different contexts. You see, that disciplined mind would start experiencing identification. Now, how do you know whether you are following the path of knowledge? All this will happen in the same sequence, the same order it happens. You don't know, you gain knowledge. Then your intellect gets deeper. Then your mind gets disciplined. A disciplined mind will start experiencing identification instead of attachment, known as love. It will have that love, it will start experiencing. When that love gets further refined, it turns into compassion. The affection that is bestowed on the known is called love. The affection that is bestowed on even the unknown is called compassion. That's all. It's the same thing. Right? But you can have that same identification, same thing, even with those. That's called compassion. With that compassion, what will be the effect of that compassion, sir? Effect of compassion is renunciation. And through renunciation, you realize. Thena tyaktena bhujita, says Isavasya. May you enjoy through renunciation. Now we think renunciation is running away. I would say next topic we should discuss is that, renunciation. That's the sequence of study. In the spiritual path, what happens is that when you gain knowledge, this happens. Now, I'll give you a sample of the knowledge that you can gain. Now, what is the knowledge you're talking about, Ishvara? It gives you the knowledge through the discrimination. Discrimination is, I'll give you 3 examples. Right? You got to work on it. You got to reflect on this. You got to make it your own. Right? Now, I'm just giving you a hint. The first one is, you say, Yoga means to get back to the self, which means you are separated from the self. What is separating is your ignorance. You are ignorant of it, therefore you have to gain that knowledge. What is the knowledge you have to gain, sir? You say, you are not this, you are that. You are not this. You are not this, that. How do you establish? Three angles we analyze it. The first one is, by law, there is always a difference between the perceiver is always different from the perceived. Isn't it? I am seeing the Taj Mahal. I am seeing Taj Mahal. I say, I am different, Taj Mahal is different. Only then experience is possible. This is our natural experience. I am eating a mango. That means mango is different, the eater is different. The eaten is different, the eater is different. Don't worry about language, okay? No, sir, English is very, very pathetic. It doesn't matter as long as you understand. It's okay. The seer is different from the seen. Using this principle, start applying this to every dimension of your life. In that, in every experience of us, taken seer seen, you always identify yourself with the seer only. Never you identify yourself with the seen. You never believe yourself to be the seen. You always believe yourself to be the seer, the experiencer. You are always the experiencer. You are never the experienced. Is it not? This is what you claim. This is what you believe. Vedanta is not saying anything. Right? Vedanta is only explaining what you are doing. This is only, the scriptures will come and show the mirror to you. That's about it. It says, if you say, then what are you now? Now, you can experience your body also. You can experience your mind also. You can experience your thinking also. I am thinking. You can experience your thinking, isn't it? You can experience you are angry. You can experience that you are disturbed. You are happy. You are unhappy. You can experience the pleasure. You can experience the pain. Therefore, the pleasure and pain becomes that object of experience. You become the subject who is experiencing. Delete all that objects. What is left out is the pure experiencer, the seer. This process, one direction they go. Another direction of thinking. This is how path of knowledge will be. Path of knowledge goes like this. Second direction is, we say, same way, any change to be recognized, there has to be a changeless entity backing the change. Without reference to a changeless, a change can never be recognized. That is why in a cloudless sky, when the flight is moving, you don't recognize the flight moving at all. You just hear the sound. Sound you hear. That's about it. You can't see. You are moving at about 800 kilometer speed. But you don't recognize that speed at all. Why? Because there is no reference. See, you need a reference point. Now, all of us are experiencing a change happening within us. The mood in which you were at 7 o'clock is not the mood in which you are right now. It's changed. Within this 1 hour, so many fluctuations have happened. In between you are angry, in between you are confused, in between you are happy, in between you said, wow, exactly, I understand that. That all that had happened, all that fluctuations, all the changes you are able to recognize. All the changes you can recognize, there has to be a changeless entity backing it. What is the changeless entity? That changeless entity is what you are. That's what Vedanta says. That thou art. You are that. Tattvamasi. Says you are that changeless entity, which is experiencing all the changes, which is with reference to that alone, you are able to recognize all the changes happening at the level of body, at the level of mind, at the level of intellect, all change you are recognizing. How? This. 2. 3. The possessor is different from the possessed. Isn't it? The one who is possessing is different from the possessed. What I possess. This is my car. When I say the car is an object possessed by me, I am the possessor. Same way, I say my body, my mind, my intellect. Now, who is the possessor? What is this? We see the world in front of us, experiencing the world, correct? Enjoying it, okay. But human probing starts inquiring into what is origin. I had a father, my father had a father, that father had a father, father. There must have been a first father, no? Who is the first father? You'll say what? Monkey. Okay, monkey also had father, no? Monkey. That monkey came from where? Donkey. That donkey came from where? Lion. Lion came from where? Tortoise. Tortoise came from where? This one. This came from where? That came from where? You're only postponing it, please. Saying that human species came from monkey is not solving any issue. You are simply postponing it. That's about it. You are not resolving anything. Now, from where that came? That and all don't ask. Now, I have a son. That son has a son. Where is the end? We don't understand the beginning. We don't understand the end. Unraveling this mystery of origin is what the path of knowledge is. When you pursue that with the quest, only then it becomes Jnana Yoga. Otherwise, it is just information hunting. Curiosity. See, that's what Krishna says in the Gita. He says, people come here. He says, Jignasu. People come there for what? Curiosity. What is that? Let us see. See, that's not going to help. That doesn't make it Jnana Yoga. Yoga of knowledge. The pursuit of this study to combat that ignorance, which is of 3 layers, needs to be done in this backdrop for the reduction of desires. If it is not done without the idea of reduction of desires, then it is not Jnana Yoga. Then what is it, sir? Jnana, knowledge. It's called as Vidya. That's about it. You can't gain that. Nothing wrong in that. I'm not saying it is wrong to do it, but that it is not that. This is all I'm saying. Now, what is the proof of that, sir? The proof of your knowledge is the discipline that you get in your life. The proof of your discipline is what? The identification that you are able to experience. You can't say, I am very disciplined, but I can't identify with people. Then it is not discipline. I am able to identify only with the known people. Unknown people I can't identify. Then it is not identification at all. I have a tremendous compassion, but I can't drop. Renunciation is not happening. Then it is not. So the test of the pursuit of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all that should result in renunciation. All the three yogas merges with renunciation. If renunciation is not the consequence of your pursuits, then it is not spiritual at all. So the pursuit of knowledge is the test. Otherwise, like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, you fellows came with few questions to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He chased them away. They said, why did you chase them? You answer all the questions. Why are you chasing them away? They said, they are like crows. Why? A crow, what it will do? Tak, 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 will fly. Go and eat one prasadam. Keep a prasad there, he will eat that. From there, he will go and eat a dead rat also. It will eat a rat, also it will eat prasadam. It has no problems. He says these people are like that. These information hunters are like that. That is not pursuit of spiritual knowledge. Pursuit of spiritual knowledge has to be this question backed by a quest for realization. Only then it is spiritual knowledge.